right, we good.
We're good. What's up, worlds? Real Talk Boston Live episode. I guess quarantine 4. We said.
4. That's it.
I know we've been pushing so many out compared to what we did for fucking months and not doing shit, and then and then we finally started doing it. So, it's been fun. I mean, like I say, it's been enjoyable having y'all back and us being able to talk about shit. Even though there's no fucking boxing going on right now, it's been very entertaining.
None whatsoever.
Well, that's the bad thing about it, man. We had no shows, and there's boxing going on now. We have no shows, and we're doing shows with no boxing. So
yeah,
we'll get it right.
I also saw that even with Jay doing the stuff right before the whole quarantine thing, like with him doing what was the fight you went to before? Houston?
San Antonio.
San Antonio?
It was in San Antonio. The Munguia versus right? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, Munguia versus O'Sullivan.
And wasn't there another one in Dallas like shortly after that, or?
Yeah, it was the Garcia versus the Vargas, right?
Okay. Yeah, with all that, I saw the numbers and the YouTube numbers go up. It's like past 400 now, which is really good. It was like,
oh really? I don't even know that.
Yeah, it was past 400. So I thought it was really good, with the numbers going up, subscribers. So that's the biggest thing. I know once we reach that, I think I can't remember what it's 1,000 or something like that. We can start like making money off this since they changed the rules.
Start making cheddar, baby. Start making cheddar.
So yeah, make sure you're following Real Talk Boston on all social media. They say we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Yeah, Spotify. I told you about TikTok.
Spotify is great, man. I love that because you can just plug it in your ears and listen to it and go. So
make sure you follow us on all social media. If you're not subscribing, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube right now. I'm one of your hosts, Robert Reyes. Everybody else introduce themselves.
Well, my name's Chris. My good friends call me Main. That's M-A-I-N. Mainzilla, M-A-I-N-Z-I-double-L today. And we're back again, episode 4. And Mr. Martinez?
Getting my water ready here. Jay Martinez, back at it again. I'm glad. And Robert, going back to what you were saying, that we've done more shows now. It's been it was hectic the past few months for all of us in general. We all got a lot of things to do. We don't sit at just home and expect everything to come to us. So for me, on my end, y'all just see how bad busy I am. But just this week or next week is gonna be my last week that I get to finish all my master's homework. So I'll have more time to do more and more shows because it's exciting. I like to do this because we get to interact and do what we were doing a couple of months ago, about a year and a half when we started our first show. Remember, we did it at the what do you call it at the
Dallas on Air.
Dallas on Air. Do you remember when we had it on there, Chris? And we were all just talking about boxing. I kind of paused Robert for now because I know he's sending the text, and then he told me to put him back on.
But that was great. Good. That was good times when we had those, man. We had special guests there and everything, and I know we had Clarkson, we had Oscar Valdez, Hector Valdez, we had John Vera, we had a lot of people there. I can't think of top of my head.
Tum, yeah. And you know what? And you know what surprises me when the Facebook memories come up and that shows that everything that were there, it shows how many fighters that have a name now for themselves. I mean, now they have a name. When we interviewed about a year and a half ago, they were just like local, not in a disrespectful way. Like they were just local, still building up their fan base. And now when they go back and see everything, they're like, oh wow, they've come a long way. Like Hector Valdez, the Rincon brothers, John Vera, who's obviously he's a high profile fighter as well. Clarkson, who fought Bivol about a year ago, if y'all remember that. We had Derek James. I remember the Derek James when we had him on the show. Derek James, trainer of Errol Spence Jr. and the Charlo. We got Richard Steele here now. So you want to go ahead and give the introduction to Richard Steele, Robert? Hopefully he can hear me. Here he is. I'm gonna let him in. All right, Chris.
Let's go.
All right, and we have here the legendary referee in the boxing ring, Richard Steele. How's it going? Hold on. He can't unmute because it's just. We got to tell him he has to unmute his mic. Could you unmute your mic and unmute yourself? Let's see if he can unmute himself. Make sure. Can't unmute the guest because
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
We can hear you now. There we go. Yes, we're excited. Richard Steele, how are you? Glad to have you on.
Well, thanks for having me. I've been in the house for 4 weeks, and
Wow.
like everybody else, I'm excited to have something to do.
Anything with boxing would just have you excited, right?
Correct, but
Anything.
the governor has closed down all of the gyms here in Vegas, so I can only stay at home.
So how different is it in Vegas right now with the whole change?
It's something very different. It's something that I've been coming. The first time I came to Las Vegas was 1963 for the '64 Olympics, and I have never seen in all the years Vegas as it is today.
I bet it's just awkward. It's just a dead atmosphere. Can't you say like the streets are just completely dead? Not something that you don't expect, right?
Correct. There's it usually takes me 35 minutes to drive from where I live to my gym, but I can get on the freeway now and be at my gym in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
even with how about the stores and everything? Is it really quiet? Like there's no visitors at all. It's all people that just live there, right?
That's right. There's nothing open. No hotels, no nothing.
No fights, especially, right? Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I saw a picture where like normally Vegas is all lit up the strip, and the strip is completely dark now. There's nothing on the strip at all.
Correct.
It's like it doesn't even look like Vegas no more. It's like, man, it looks kind of like pretty much a dead place completely.
Correct. You're right. It's a dead place for sure.
So how are you keeping busy? What are you doing at the house? Push-ups, sit-ups.
Hey, that's right. Yeah. My grandkids got me involved in working out, and also my wife. So we just working out. We take a walk every once in a while, but look at TV. That's all you have to do. Look at fights and old fights. So, that's about it.
As you watching old fights, what are the fights that you like to watch that still pique your interest?
Well, some of the top fights is some of the ones that I refereed. The Hagler Hearns, the Lennox, the Mike Tyson's, all of those fights. They've been showing them on TV for the last 2 weeks, so I've been watching them and
Oh, I think we just lost him real quick. I think he went.
I'm sorry. That's
no,
Tony
okay.
Weeks trying to call me.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
He's dropping names over there.
Yeah, he just.
So what was the first big fight you were ref?
Yeah, we can hear you.
What was the first big fight you were ref in? You refereed. Oh, what happened?
Oh, we lost him again.
Tony Weeks called
lost him again. Yeah, Tony Weeks.
Answer me second time I called.
Yeah, isn't it just amazing just to have him on, just to see how just Tony Weeks is calling me, and it's just so random. Like he just has Tony Weeks. Hey, you know what? Tony Weeks is calling me, and it would be pretty awesome to talk to Tony Weeks because he himself as well carries a lot of or he has a high pedigree inside the boxing ring of a lot of fighters that a lot of boxing fights that he has covered. Well, I guess we just continue talking while we just wait for him to come back on, or maybe you want to message him, Robert. But Chris, I want to just say, I think it was you, Robert. The Eskimo was one of the best fights that he remembers. I want to ask him once he comes back on. I want to ask him. I don't know what do you think. It kind of ties up to the question that I have. Like, anytime were you nervous around any elite fighters? Yeah, I think he'll probably be like, I was nervous because imagine him holding back Tyson. But hey, Tyson, chill out. The Tommy the Hearns, the Duran, all those fighters in the elite. He was all part of. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he was part of that era too. So imagine him trying to tell them, hey, you know what, like calm down, calm down. Imagine how that goes. Imagine if he has that adrenaline rush inside of him when he's trying to tell a fighter that it's going a million miles per hour to chill out in the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I even wonder the pre-fight, like we got to talk to him before the fight. I wonder if anybody made him nervous where he had to walk in and tell him, hey, don't be doing this, or I'm gonna be watching this, or that's like
or even like what I like about when I was talking to when Marcos Villegas Fight Hub TV, I remember I asked him, did he ever get nervous talking to anybody? Like myself, at first, I don't even remember, Robert, when I first came aboard on the team, when I first talked to Canelo and Oscar, like I was just starstruck, like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I want to see if also the referees are like fan of fighters, and obviously they can't say during that time, and they could be like, hey, you know what? Like when they went inside the locker room, they're like, damn, like I'm about to just referee Tyson's fighter, Floyd Mayweather or Zab Judah. Imagine if they get to say, do they have that like nervous inside of them? I'm just waiting for him to tell us, but I guess we'll just continue. Hopefully, he doesn't. We don't listen. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
No, I was wondering like if you're even allowed to ask that, like who are your favorite fighters, or would it be a bias? But I guess it's so many years later. I guess it wouldn't matter, but I just don't. I don't want to open that can of worms if you.
Yeah. Well, what I guess you're right. But what I was trying to say, like somebody that he'd be like, damn, like I didn't think I ever referee this type of fight. That's what I was trying to go with, not somebody that was his favorite, because obviously you're absolutely correct. But more like, man, I didn't Mike Tyson. I'm referring Mike Tyson. Like I don't know if he hit him one time, but besides that, I was looking at I don't know about the news that y'all saw about Bob Arum talking to saying that probably in a couple of more months, maybe he wants to have all the professional fighters training under one gym. I don't know what you think about that.
It'd be kind of hard if they don't live there. Like if they're going to a specific gym. Like I know Top Rank has a gym in Vegas, but so what does that mean? You're gonna only train at that gym and not, you'd have to train somewhere else at home and then go there so many weeks before maybe. But still, it's not unless you have a fight in one city specifically. It's kind of hard to swing that.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Chris?
I think they should take that WWE approach to it, man. They test their fighters before they go there, get their fighters there, screen everybody that's in the building, no audience, nobody there, and just let them fight and do their thing, and then they get a paycheck. The fans win. You have no audience, no stuff like that. All you have is just your judges and your announcers and the fighters and their team. But you test everybody before they go inside.
That's even harder. Like say if they're limited to 10 people. Okay, they got to have cornermen on each side. Let's say 2 or 3, a ref, 3 judges. They still got to have more officials. It's a lot more people there.
Yeah, but if you're getting tested and you know that so and so ain't got it, and you ain't got it, so how you spread it if nobody has it? They're ready.
But hey, it's still like I don't know how many days testing it is. 5 days, 6 days.
Yeah, because I heard.
But even
man, they're doing the testing like. They have nonstop testing on that stuff, so like that's crazy because how they have nonstop testing and down here or anywhere you go to, it's hard to find testing, I guess. So
yeah, they're only going off testing if you have fever and you're coughing. They're not really wasting that on anybody if they don't have to. So,
hey, bro, you see the
he's coming back on. He's coming back on, guys. Sorry to interrupt you. There he is. He's it's okay.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, forget Tony Weeks, man. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know how to get back to you guys.
Okay, next, if you lose us again, just click that link that I text you, and then just it was.
No, I'm not going to touch anything. I'm not going to touch anything until we are finished.
Yeah, first, before we start again, let me thank Jeff. What's his last name?
Zimmerman.
Yeah, he's the one that got us his interview with Richard. I would appreciate it. He's a cool person since I've known since we started doing this. It's real cool. So I mean, I reached out to him. He said, "Yeah, I can make it happen." So I love that he helped us out here. So
not only cool, but very generous and very helpful, and as well straightforward in helping us out, because every time we see Jeff, Robert, he's always like, hey man, how's it going? And he's always a welcoming person, always wants the best for anybody else. So Jeff, you're seeing this once again. Thank you very much. Sorry to cut you off, guys.
Hey, well, let me say something too about Jeff, because y'all gonna talk about Jeff. Let me talk about Jeff. Jeff, thank you for everything, because when me and Bro first started, you're probably one of the guys that were there to help us out and show us the ropes and everything, and never didn't help us out. So with Jeff, we do appreciate you, and here we are years later, and he's still helping us out. So thank you, Jeff, for everything you do for us.
Yeah, he's a great guy, you know.
Yeah, but we'll go back to what I was asking. What was the first big fight you were a referee of? Do you remember?
The first title fight that I refereed was Carlos Zarate and Hernandez. Forget Hernandez's first name, but it was at the Forum in Los Angeles, California.
And how does that work? Like, do they sit here and tell you a couple weeks before you're going to referee this fight, or with the different titles, is it different requirements you have to reach, or?
Well, you got, you know, it's like the two fighters have to agree upon it, the two fight camps, and then all the state that the fight is going to be held at, you know, the state commission have to agree upon it, but also the belt, WBC, WBA, IBF, whoever belt they are fighting for, the president have to agree upon it. So all
okay. So it's a lot of hands in that deal to make sure it happens at you.
Yeah.
Was there any fight you went into that you were nervous being the referee of?
Every one of my fights. What are you talking about? My rounders, my 6 rounders, my main events, my championship. Because you got to understand, my duty never changed. If it's a title fight or if it's a 4-rounder, my duty never changed. The only thing that is different is the excitement. The bigger the fight, the more people, so the more people got their hands involved in it. So it's more involvement.
You just said, obviously the bigger card, the bigger the event, more people, the more, I guess the craziness and the cheering of people. Did that ever kind of like add some level of nervousness to you when you would have a big event and you would just hear the crowd going crazy, even though the fighter landed threw 4 punches, it probably landed 1. Did that ever kind of get to you at times?
Oh yeah, I mean, the bigger the event, the more exciting you get. But like I always say to myself, my job never changed. The duties of my job has always been the same. So that's how I try to keep a hand on being a referee, because you are appointed to do a job. You're appointed for the safety of the fighters, and that's what it's all about.
Now, okay, when any fights you ever called early, was there any slack you count from any fight that you called early, or felt like, I guess people thought you called it early, or?
You know it was.
That's why you asked the question.
Man, why? You asking a question that you can answer yourself. Julio Cesar Chavez and Mel Teller, that went on. That goes on right today.
Yeah, still people talk about that. Still to this day, people still talk about that. That's one of the fights that always comes up.
Yeah, 2 seconds left.
Is that one of those?
Like I tell everybody, I'm not the timekeeper. I don't care about the time, because if I was caring about the time, that means I'm be cheating for somebody.
Is that one of those calls?
Just think about it.
Is that
Just
one of those,
think about it.
Yeah. Is that one of those calls that you like to have back, or no? You did.
No. That's one of the calls that made me who I am today.
And I wanted to ask you, Richard, you're the third person in the ring. Has there ever been how do you know when is the right time or when is the right time to stop a fight when you see a fighter that is certain? And I'm not saying the referee's job, like let's just point to Jose Luis Castillo versus Corrales. Castillo after the fight said, "Hey, like I was still hanging, I could still do this." When do you notice the exact same time? Like, is it when the fighter has his hands down, he can't control himself? When is it for you? Because every referee is different. Some let it go a little bit longer. Some of them wait. Some of them obviously wait longer so they could be more action. When do you know when is the right time?
When the guy cannot protect himself, when the guy his punches power is don't mean anything, he don't have a chance. You have to take all of these things in consideration. Just like the fight that you just mentioned with Tony Weeks. He did a great job. I mean, he let that boy get up, and the boy won.
Yeah.
He let him get up. I mean, what if he had stopped it earlier? We wouldn't have never had that.
No.
We would have never had that great ending of that fight. Corrales would have never had been voted fighter of the year or whatever. I mean, it's a time that you got to have it in your heart to do the right thing. That's the main thing. A referee got to have it in his heart to want to be the best and want to do it the right way every time. And then you get a championship like Tony Weeks got, and on history books, that fight went in history books, and it will always be in history books because it was one of the greatest fights of all time.
And you keep on talking about Tony Weeks, or somebody who we get to see in the ring consistently throughout the year. We see him in a lot of big fights. Is there any referee right now that you currently, well, obviously that before the pandemic, is there any referee that you admire, or obviously you probably do respect all the referees in the ring, but is there somebody that you admire for what they do inside the ring till this day?
Well, you always have Kenny Bellis, Tony Weeks. Those always have been top. They have been at the top of their game. And you got a couple others, that are waiting for the right fight. What makes a great referee is the great fights. So those are why you remember those guys, because they have been able to get in there with some great fighters.
To backdoor Jay, when you watch fights at home or whatever, do you critique the referees and like, I would have made that call, or I'll do this, do that different, or you just watch it as a fan?
No. I've been in this game for 60 years, and you never know, because at different times you don't know what you might do. You just hope and pray that you do the right thing. So that's why I've always tell the guys that I train the referee, you got to be in shape. You got to be in shape to be able to get in there when you need to be in there and get out of there when you need to be out of there. You got to be in shape. The right calls, you got to be on top of your game.
It's good to say that, because my next question would be, what training goes into being a referee? Like, would you have to go to, is there like book studies, or just is it on job training, or?
Yeah, the best way, the way I started, and the best way that I try to train all the young referees that ask me for help is to be in the gym, sparring, refereeing the sparring matches, and you just keep doing it and keep studying, keep looking at fights, and keep training and staying in shape. Staying in shape is one of the major parts of refereeing.
Do you ever worry about
Go ahead. How do the referees stay in shape? What is something that you tell the referees to stay in shape? How do you tell them? Do they go through the procedures as obviously not as close as a boxer, but do they wake up in the morning? Did you ever wake up at 4 a.m. to go run to your market?
The way that I have always stayed in shape, because I train as an amateur boxer. I train as a professional fighter, and I train as a referee. I have to stay in shape. I did my road work. I did my calisthenics. You know, and I go to the gym and I referee sparring matches, and that's the way you have to do it. You can't be a weekend referee. You know, on the weekends you just go and referee play. You don't know what might happen. So if something happened that you have not seen or ever saw, you don't know what you're gonna do. The only way that you prepare yourself is to be in that gym and you know kids will be training, and you just tell them you just go ahead and train, because the things that you might see the kids do might be in your next fight. So you got to be prepared to do the things that you never thought about. You know, so you got to stay in shape.
Okay, you say stay in shape. So would y'all like bench press and stuff like that? Because when the fighters are in the clinch, you got to break them up, and they're big guys. So like, would you have to work on some weights and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, you should. But running is always the master. You got to run. You got to be in shape. You got to be able to get in there quick. You got to be able to get. You know how fast Mike Tyson is, man. If you're too far back and can't get in there in time, he's gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask. I'm itching to ask this question. I want to get it out of my chest before Robert and Chris go up next. Richard, was there any of the time, because you have been part of many legendary nights, a lot of notable fights. Has there been ever a time that you have gone into the dressing room and to address the fighter before the fight? Have you ever been like, "Wow, I can't believe I'm actually going to talk to Hearns or Floyd Mayweather or Zab Judah, even Mike Tyson"? Has there been a time like, "Wow, I can't believe that I'm just doing that"? Does that ever struck you at times? Did that ever struck you at times?
Well, I've been very fortunate, and I was blessed. I was blessed because I came and they brought me up at the right time, at the right fight. So I just kept going up, doing bigger fights. So I was always prepared. You see, they didn't just throw me in there with a big fight. And I said, gee, I prepared myself for these fights that I had. All of the 165 world title fights that I refereed, and you can see the progress, better, and then you get the big one, and that's what got me prepared for all of the fights that I've done.
What is that big one?
There's so many of them. It's so many of them. My daughter just asked me. She just asked me the other night, can you give me 10 of your biggest fights? Of the fights that you really thought was great. I ended up with 30. Because how can you grade one bigger than the other? You got Sugar Ray Leonard, you got Tommy Hearns, you got Marvin Hagler, you got Mike Tyson, you got Muhammad Ali, come on. What is the biggest? They all big.
No.
Yeah. Your body of work is awesome. Yeah, truly have a nice body of work.
So first of all, what got you into boxing? Like, what made you want to box when you first started? Before all this.
Well, to be truthful, I went to the gym a couple of times with a friend of mine, and his name was Albert Wright. His father's name was Chalky Wright. He was a great champion, a lightweight champion. So I went over to his house one day, and so I meet this guy. He said, I want to introduce you to this friend of mine. So I go in the back, and it's Sugar Ray Robinson. I meet Sugar Ray Robinson, and so I kept going over there. And one day I went over, and Joe Louis was over there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, man. So Joe Louis, so he asked me a question. He said, "Are you in the gym? Are you in the gym?" So I said, so I lied, 'cause I ain't never been in the gym. I was 12. I was 12 years old. So I said, I looked at Albert, and Albert looked at me, and so we said, yes, we in the gym. In other words, Joe Louis always knew that if a kid was in the gym, he wasn't out there smoking, drinking, doing all the negative things in life, So he was trying to work out. So that's why it was very important for him to get a yes answer, And so the next day, Albert and I we go to the gym, and I've been in the gym every day since then. So that's what really got me started. So anyway, so I leave high school, I go to the Marine Corps. And so the Marine Corps, they had a boxing team. So the sergeant asked, anybody know how to box? So I had been to the gym a couple of times. Yeah. So I went in, I won, I beat the guy up. They put me on the Marine Corps boxing team and everything else. I was in there with Ken Norton. I was in all kind of groups, So everything else just kept going, And we get out of the Marine Corps, I turned professional. And Eddie Futch, he signed me. And so, that's the start of my professional career.
And then how did the transition to becoming a ref happen?
Okay, so I was, liked, everybody liked me. Everybody was doing, said, man, Richard Steele, boy, he's a great puncher. Anyway, I started fighting heavyweights. I couldn't get no fights in the light heavyweights. So I started fighting a couple of heavyweights because they slow, I said, I can knock these guys out, So and then that's what happened. I knocked a couple of them out, and they said, oh man, they're really exciting. So I started fighting main event, 10 rounders, and they had this guy, I knew I could beat him. I seen the punch coming, hit me in the side and broke my ribs. But he was like 220 pounds. I was 176 pounds, So they know they was the cause of me getting my ribs broken. Eventually, they broke a couple more times in the gym, not in the fight, but in the gym. So I had to retire. And so when I told the commission, hey, man, the doctor want me to retire. So he says, hey, have you ever thought about being a referee? I said, heck no, damn referee. I don't want to be no referee, And so I went back to the gym. And so my trainer, Eddie Futch, I told him, I said, they asked me to be a referee. And he said, they did what? I said, yeah, they asked me to be a referee. And so he said, man, you don't know how much honor that is. He said, do you know you would be the second Black referee ever appointed in the state of California?
Wow.
So he said, man, that is an honor for them to ask you that. So I went back the next day and took the job.
That's awesome.
Yeah, one to another. So I was at the forum. Doing 4 rounders, 6 rounders, and just learning how to do it. And Jose Suleiman, WBC president, he was there, and he saw me move and saw me working out, and he came to me. He said, I want you to be a WBC referee. So the next month, I couldn't believe it. The next month, I was in Ireland. He sent me to do a fight. Got a great report from there. And then the next month after that, I was in Australia. I was in Japan. I was just flying all over, learning how to referee.
So you got to see the world then. So, just travel all over.
Oh
Even
yeah,
with you,
yeah.
even with you going to events, do you get to enjoy the atmosphere, or you got to just?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sightsee and people, they always want to show you the country and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah, now I had. Then I started taking my kids to. I took my kids to Africa, South Africa a couple of times, and I went all over with my kids everywhere, and we seen the whole. So it's been, it was like 30 great years.
dang. So, what was your favorite place to go? What was the most beautiful place you've been?
Well, South Africa is one of them. South
Mhm.
Africa, my family there with me. It was so beautiful. I mean, to see, you know, lions and kangaroos and everything just walking on the hills and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah, it was so beautiful. Yeah, and the flower had a a purple flower that is on every hill. Yeah, but it's beautiful. In Japan, Korea, everywhere. So it's always been a wonderful place to be a referee.
Richard, I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you also of all the notable fights. Once again, saying this, uh, there was many fighters that you witnessed closely, more closely than any fan or any person in the boxing ring, in arenas. Was there anybody that you can name a few if you can? Was there any fighters that you really amazed by their skills, or you were like, wow, like this fighter has amazing skills? Anybody that just stood out for you throughout your career that you were just like, wow?
Well, there's been a several Mexican fighters from Mexico. I mean, they was great fighters. Always uh, looked at them, the body attack, that left hook to the body that they created. You know, the Hispanic fighters, the Mexican fighters. I've seen Sugar Ray Leonard. Just he was a great fighter. Didn't get the didn't get all of the glory that I thought he could have got, but so many fighters when I was coming up, and that's why my career was so good. Tommy Hearns, he was a great fighter. And then you get the Mike Tyson comes up, and man, the others are so scared of him. I mean, it was great. Ali was the greatest. Let me about Ali. So I had just started training how to referee, and so Ali came to California to do an exhibition. So I knew Ali in the amateurs. He found out that I was training to be a referee, so he told the athletic, let Richard Steele let him do my exhibition. So Ali was fighting four other guys. He fought four guys that day, and I refereed all of his fights. And that's what really got people to really start looking at me. You know, so Ali was a great fighter. Not only was a fighter, but he was a great promoter. He promoted boxing better than anybody did, any fighter. If it wasn't for Ali, boxing wouldn't be what it is today. You guys know that?
Yeah,
Oh
definitely.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially the
He
way
was a
how
trendsetter.
he sold himself. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially how he sold himself and how he spoke and how he I guess show fighters that they were their own brand. Like they have to sell themselves like to the
yeah.
public or to their fans so they can get more people in the seats. The seats is obviously what gets them more fights and obviously their skills will pay for themselves. So yeah, I completely agree with you on that.
And let me say one more thing, Ali, because a lot of people don't give him the credit for when he refused to go to war against the Vietnam. That was a big thing.
yeah,
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? For
yeah.
3 years, they banned him for 3 years, and he took it. He couldn't fight 3 years. When he came back, he won the title again. He was a great fighter, man.
Yeah,
He did
and,
a lot for boxing.
and he was the greatest. And they say he was the greatest, and but he has a loss. He has losses on his record, so you can lose some fights and still be the greatest in boxing. this whole
Man.
undefeated thing is kind of overrated, man. You know.
Yeah, it's overrated because they choose and pick who they want to fight now. You know, Sugar. So you tell me who was the greatest fighter of all time?
Well, in my generation, it's Floyd Mayweather. In my generation,
Not your generation. Your generation ain't nothing.
Well, school me, OG. Tell me. I just right here is Muhammad Ali. My pops grew up, and it was always Muhammad Ali's the greatest. But I enjoy watching Mike Tyson fight. I grew up in a Tyson Chavez
era. It was one before that. Ali told me himself.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray Robinson was the greatest fighter of all time. Ali said, Ali, he you look at the great fighters like Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard. Look at all those great fighters, and you can see where they got their style from. Sugar Ray Robinson was, man, he was a great fighter. Well, he could do so many things, you know.
Well, I got a question for you. So, you know, leading up to the fighters get there maybe a week before the fight or a couple days before the fight. Do you come in with the fighters also, and do you arrive there to the event a couple days earlier?
A couple of days about it. You know, you don't want to hang around too much with the fighters that's going to fight the main event or something. You know, people get the
wrong impression
the wrong impression that you favoring. Because anything you do, you know, they're gonna be looking at you. Yeah. You know, so you want to stay away from them, but you know, you want to get there to relax and to get your game plan together and get in shape and work out in the gym, and you know, you want to do all of that, but you don't want to hang around the fighter.
Okay, so it's fight night, and most fighters will relax and rest before the fight starts or whatever. So you, as a referee, what do you do in preparation for a big title fight that night? You get up early in the morning, have a good breakfast.
The same that fighters do. You know, I train myself to do the same thing that they do. So I want to be ready. I want to be, you know, not only just will to be ready, I got to be in shape mentally and physically, because you know it's a big thing to mentally to be ready for these fights. You know, you got thousands of people. There's room for this guy, another thousands of people room for another guy. So you got to be ready. You got to be able to call it the way it is and call it the way, because you're not going to make everybody happy anyway, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to make everybody happy, you know? Because somebody going to be mad because they lost their $10 or whatever. You know, one guy was their favorite, you know? So you're not going to make everybody happy. So the ones that you do, you look at the two fighters, and those are the ones that you want to make happy. They don't want to put all the time, effort, and you know, fighting is a hell of a sport, man. You guys don't, unless you've been in there, man. Walk in that ring, that guy that you know that he's gonna knock you out. It's a lot of guts to do that.
Out of all the years you refereed, give me a tough night. What was a tough night for you?
Well, you know, we had a lot of tough nights, man. Just, you know, another thing that I never had to do is question myself, because I always prepared myself. We went there with the right intention to doing the right thing. But, you know, you can't just, you got to do it the way that you know you do it, and you got to accept it. Whatever you do, you got to accept it, because, you know, you can't change it, you know? So, you know, it's a lot of times that, you know, you think one guy, you might think of one guy might have the other guy might get knocked out. So, you can't really have a favorite. A guy, some favorite. You just have to call it the way it is and the way it work out.
How do you feel about clinching?
Do what?
How do you feel about clinching, holding in the ring? A lot of people say you got to break it up, and they clinch it again, break up. How do you feel about that? I think that sometimes people do too much clinching and not enough fighting.
Yeah.
Is that a referee's job to stop that?
Yeah.
Right then and there.
But that's a referee's job. Make sure that you give the fans their money worth. Yeah. So it's clinching too much. Well, that is that's his fault. It's the referee fault, the fighters corner fault. I mean, you there to entertain. How you gonna make some money the next fight if you holding it all the time? Because people aren't. So you are entertainment. You're entertainment, entertainer. So you got to entertain the fans, and your corner and your trainer and all. They should want to make sure that you do the fight the right way, because they're gonna get more money the next fight if you do. But if you hold, people ain't gonna want to pay this. So that comes out of training money too.
That makes perfect sense.
And that's one thing that we really lacking. We're really lacking good training.
Have you ever thought about?
Go ahead,
Sorry, Chris, because it cut off.
Go ahead.
Is there times that, since you retired, that a lot of referees right now kind of contact you and ask you for your support? And what's the number one advice they give to the referees that are up and coming?
Well, I just say, hey, first of all, you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be truthful to yourself to try to do a good job. In other words, I try to make them understand you don't care who win the fight. That's supposed to be your attitude. You don't care who win the fight. You just want to do a good job. I mean, like I told you, my daughter was asking me about 10 most famous fights, or the ones that I really like. I had 160 fights, 163 fights, world title fights, and I loved all of them, because I never had a favorite. And that's what makes a good referee. When you don't have no favorite, you don't care who wins,
Yeah.
So, because a lot of it's not gonna end up the way that you thought it was gonna end up,
Yeah. With you having a long career like you did in boxing and refereeing, have you ever thought about writing a book?
No. Yeah. 3 or 4 times. My daughter's still working on that. Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of history, a lot of great fights, a lot of great training, like I said, I started out with Ken Norton. We was both on the Marine Corps championship team. He was a heavyweight and I was a middleweight, and, that was 1963, before all of you guys was born.
Yeah.
1963, none of y'all was born, But yeah, so a lot of history, great fighters. But I try to tell referees, you got to really want to love the game. You got to love the game. That way, if you really love boxing, you can't be persuaded to do anything to hurt boxing. When a referee get tied up with some people and he makes a call because he got paid or he got friends or something like that, he regrets that for the rest of his life. He ain't never forget that. He gonna remember, hey man, I took that $100 from that guy. He wanted me to stop the fight to let this other guy win. How you gonna forget?
No.
You know,
It only costs $100. Damn.
I just used $100.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it takes.
I just used $100, man. Come on, don't be so dramatic, man. Yeah,
So,
I have
but
a, I have a lot.
but saying that
Uh huh.
you put up in something that you would, they always say, you do something bad like that, you're a bought person, and once they buy you and you accept it, you're always gonna be that type of person.
no.
You're always gonna be that type of person. I've been a couple times in my career. I was asked to do certain things, or God wanted me to do certain things. Man, get out of here.
Don't bother me. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you just on your input because I asked Marcos Villegas about a couple of days ago. I asked him, he's with Fi Hub TV. I asked him, obviously the pandemic is going on right now with the COVID-19 coronavirus. Um, do you think, or what do you think is going to happen once this settles down? Do you think the boxing is going to quickly jump into, hey guys, we got this fight and we're going to charge top dollar for everybody to come in, or where the promoters in the the business side be like, hey, we're going to bring the fee a little bit lower. We're going to bring pay-per-view cost a little bit lower, because obviously people that were jobless for almost 2 to 3 months are not going to travel out, are not going to leave their house, are not going to pay $79, $69 to watch a pay-per-view fight. Do you think the promoters in the business should take in consideration about that?
Yeah, right. They should, because let me tell you something. Boxing is going to be hard to get it back. It's going to be hard. First of all, the same thing that you just talked about. The promoters ain't going to be paying the fighters what they was before before this happened. They're not going to be. They some money. See, promoters are losing money, and not going to be paying the fighters all that big money. Yeah, some of the top ones they are, but I'm talking about the ones in the middle. So they're going to have to for for small purses, and they're going to have to build up. We're going to have to. It's going to be hard for to get the fans back.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be hard, man. So there's a lot of fighters that have been ducking each other or didn't fight at the fight now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look what happened to the TV networks. I mean, Showtime is gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
HBO, I mean HBO is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Showtime, all the rest of them, they're gonna have to really put some guys that are really top notch contenders. They're gonna have to put them together.
Yeah.
Be able to just to fight anybody on the fight. We got to build boxing back up. Yeah. This word, I don't know when TV of them gonna get back together.
Yeah.
They talk baseball. They're talking about baseball with the fans. You think that's gonna work?
Yeah, I don't see how it's gonna work at all. Baseball without fans.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
Well, I mean, sometimes the stadiums are half empty. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm sorry. I mean,
but you got to look at it.
Sometimes.
Okay, making money, some money coming in concessions. That's more money than doing absolutely nothing.
Yes, that's right.
Well, I'm just saying,
right.
Yeah.
When you don't have the fans there, T-shirts, Coke, hot dogs, and all that money adds up. That's why the Pope makes so much money. But when you have the fans there, you ain't selling nothing.
Yep.
You know.
You're absolutely right.
So it's
Yeah.
going to take a lot of hard work for all of us to really, get in the game and really these fighters fight each other to build the interest back up, because, the days that when you have one guy and he has 20 knockouts, ain't no pay to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be tough, man. And I got a gym that goes for going on 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and I have to. The reason why I know about this because I'm trying to think each and every day, how do I get those back in the gym?
Yeah.
How do I get those kids back in the gym to train and to pay their gym dues so to pay my rent?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna
Yeah.
be
So
tough.
what do you have any social media, or how do people, I guess once it's all over, said and done, how do people get like a hold of you, get to your gym? If they're looking for a gym in Vegas.
Yeah, Richard Steele Boxing Club. The Richard Steele Foundation. I have two different ones. Richard Steele Foundation, Steele Boxing Club. But I got to get. I had 20 in there before this thing happened. I have to go ahead seek out all of those kids and get them back in there.
Yeah.
And some of those kids ain't gonna come back.
Yeah.
Because boxing wasn't really in their heart anyway. They were just doing it because their buddies was there or whatever. So it's gonna to come back. Really love boxing.
Yeah.
Well, as
guys writing those articles and getting on the nets and talking about boxing and lifting boxing up, and you can do. You got to do it, really save boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it's important.
yeah. Well, it's
So maybe
been a privilege.
maybe I have to get some
Sorry.
of you guys to come out of retirement. just say, hey, they should be. Where you guys?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas.
Oh, you live in Dallas? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dallas is a tough place, man. Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah.
But from Marshall, you know what Marshall is?
Yes.
Come on, you
Yes.
guys. You don't know what Marshall is?
Yes, we do.
You're born in Texas, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quick question for you,
So,
Mr. Steele, Richard.
yeah. Yeah.
Moving forward, give me your top fights you want to see if we do have fights in 2020. What do you want to see?
Well, Crawford is my favorite. That kid,
Bud.
Crawford, boy, fight. But then, one that had the accident, the kid that had the accident?
Yeah, Earl Spence. Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, those are two fighters. Yeah, I want to see them. I don't want to see them fight each other. You see? No. Let them fight everybody else, and then at the end fight each other.
Yeah.
But who is everybody else?
The redhead boy from from Mexico.
Who is that? That's who is that? That's Red Cap? No?
No, man, come on.
Talking about
The
Canelo?
redhead.
Oh,
The
redhead.
Talking about Canelo.
Canelo, man.
I think Canelo's a little too big for those guys, man.
Yeah, he went up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canelo up there. See, they got Pacquiao. You got Danny
Oh, man,
Garcia.
that guy old, man. Who want to see Pacquiao?
I want to see Pacquiao and Spence. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. Or
Man, that's
Pacquiao,
old.
Mikey Garcia, one of the two.
Yeah, Mikey Garcia. Oh no, man, he can't beat those guys. He can't beat those guys. Man.
I don't think so neither, man. I think the overall
Pacquiao knocked out. All those guys gonna get knocked out. That's why we got to get back to business and bring some real good, some real good strong guys. But those two guys are the best two fighters in the world.
Yeah. Very true.
They're the
What
best
about-
two fighters.
what about Lomachenko?
No. Chinko had his day. They do it, man. I'm serious, man. That Crawford guy,
Yeah.
man, he is so good. He fights both ways, left-handed, and he makes the decision when he switch. That's what makes so good. His trainers, I talked to them, and they said, man, we don't tell him when to switch. He switch when he want to switch.
And not a lot of fighters do that. I mean, that's what makes him Crawford a little more special than the rest.
Yeah, right. And I just don't know how the other kid gonna come back after that accident. That was a bad accident.
Yeah.
But I don't know how he's gonna come back. I can't. At first at one time I thought he was better than Crawford.
Yeah.
I looked at Crawford win a couple more fights. I said, no, this guy is too good.
Yeah. But we appreciate you coming on. It's I love that you came on and give us something to talk about with boxing and everything, and a great career in boxing. So we appreciate everything you did and coming on the show.
Okay. That's all right.
Thank you so much.
You got my number. You call me anytime.
Okay, I appreciate it, man.
We definitely want to have you back.
Talking about boxing, we ain't talking about no girls or nothing like that.
No, not on this show. It's strictly just boxing. But Richard, thank you so much. Richard Steele, thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
Jay, I'm Jay, Robert, and Chris.
Yes.
Here from the Dallas area. We greatly appreciate you, and I know Chris will say would like to end it, but I just want to also thank Jeff for making this possible. Richard's always seeing. I like doing this pandemic. Obviously we've been in lockdown. I see a lot of fights, and I always see you in them, and I'm like, wow, he's been in so many fights. So when we got to bring you on, I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually talking to a legendary referee. So it's a privilege and it's an honor to have you on. So thank you so much.
Well, it's my honor. When you get to Vegas, don't come to Vegas without coming to see me.
No, for sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna take you up on that.
Okay, anytime. You just call me and just come on. God bless all of you guys.
God bless you.
Thank you. God bless. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Okay,
well, that was
to go off something
real quick.
We'll go off something he said. Do you think? Okay, bro might know a little bit about this, but I saw WWF, they cut a lot of wrestlers, and like with this whole thing, him saying that you see the younger fighter get cut. Could you see that happening? Like with them being like with the big promoters being like, we're trying to save money, we only got so much money. Hey, we got these people that's not making us as much money as the top fighters. We got to let them go, or
yeah, definitely, bro. If it's not coming in and they're not making it on the back end, why not cut them? But that's good because somebody like a top ranked cut. I mean, PBC or the Zone will pick them up and just get all mixed around and stuff like that. But yeah, I could definitely see that happening. There's just not enough coming in to support the cast they have, so they got to cut.
Yeah, and like even with let me ask you, bro, is the Zone still charging you for the app or?
I don't pay for my DAZN.
Okay.
I got a deal worked out with my boy in H-Town, my boy Raymond. So no, I ain't got it for him. So
that's what I was wondering. I wonder if they're still charging people. They're not putting any new content out there, but
they are charging people. I've heard a lot of people on Twitter saying that they're still charging them. But I wanted to say though, what you were just asking, Robert. I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't cut any fighters, man. I really hope they don't cut any fighters because upcoming fighters that that need to sell tickets, that need to build a fan base and all that, and all of a sudden get cut. That's tough because in boxing you put all that work, all that time, and everything, and then all of a sudden you get cut, and it's unfortunate. It's not because you're bad; it's just because the business side of it. Yeah. I just hope that doesn't happen, man. And we've been seeing it; it could happen, but I just hope it doesn't. And whoever does, I hope somebody picks them up really quick because, man, especially in boxing, me being around it, all of us being around it, you, Chris. You, Robert, we've seen how fighters, how much they put the work in that many people don't see, and then so all of a sudden just get cut. Yeah. Waking up at 4 a.m, putting those miles, doing all that sparring, getting hurt, and doing everything, selling yourself and trying to build a fan base. All of a sudden get cut. I just hope it doesn't happen. But
even some of the younger ones, even with the younger ones that are on big promotion, let's say some of the younger fighters on Golden Boy, where they still have to work to support themselves and not, still have this, love of the game where they want to fight, so they still have this it's a big ordeal behind it still.
But it could also be a blessing too. This guy's not getting put on this show or not getting put on this TV, but he also might be a blessing to the Zone or PBC, and they're going to put him on either as fish bait or just as something else. He get that TV time and everything he needs to get, so it could be a blessing also too. It could work either way, I believe.
Yeah, so we really won't know anything until this whole thing's over and they start fighting again.
I can't wait, man. I'm ready for some fucking boxing. It's been a while.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Well, it was a good show. I really, Steele, I think we learned a lot from him.
Yeah,
Jeff, thank you again, Jeff. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Jeff, if you're on here, thanks again, Jeff. And I guess we'll just wrap it up, and hopefully Sunday we'll be in for a big surprise because I think Kelly Pavlik just texted me, so hopefully we can have him on. So if not, we'll see who else we can have on, and then we're about to hit an hour and 10.
Yeah, it'd be good for Kelly because we've already had a promoter, we had trainers, we've had official, we've had whatever. So let's go for announcers. So get a fighter in here.
Yeah. Hector Beltran, Ray Flores,
and
Richard Steele, and Hector Vasquez. So we've had everybody now to have Kelly Pavlik. So yeah, guys, it's been real. It's been good, and I enjoy doing this, especially Richard Steele, man, because I wrote an article for the other page that I tell you about, the Mexican page, Izquierdazo Boxeo, and I remember just digging information to Richard Steele. So when Chris and Robert, who y'all first had this idea to bring in the referee, I was like, Richard Steele, it's like, how are we gonna get a hold of him? And then Jeff made this happen. I was like, wow, like I'm shocked because that's a referee. Like, again, when I first started this, I remember that Joe Cortez took me around the AT&T Stadium just to chat. And I remember I told you that, Robert. Remember when that first happened? Like, hey, bro, Joe Cortez thinks about starting a show in Houston and everything. And man, like he bombarded me with so much experience and everything, and I was like in shock the whole time. But that's been a good show. Happy to hear.
I also want to thank everybody that's out there tuning in on the chat, on YouTube, Facebook, anything you're watching this on. Thank you so much, man. Smash that like button, subscribe, show us some love, man. Support the hustle we do, man. My name is Chris. My good friends call me Main. That's MAIN. And it's been a great show. Quarantine number 4 in the books.
Yeah. I'm Jay Martinez. Thanks everybody for coming in. Robert, Chris, y'all know from the bottom of my heart, I'm always grateful for y'all. And I hope everybody who's out there, I hope everything gets better for you. And if you're in a good position, be grateful, be happy, pray to whatever creative choice you have. And let's just things will get better. So hopefully this all calms down.
Yeah, we're signing off. So just make sure you're following Real Talk Boxing on all social media. And we'll be back Sunday.
And it's Real Talk Boxing. Real talk for real boxing fans.